28 years ago tomorrow, a 30-year-old father was beaten to death. His killers were never found. Tonight, his family is asking for your help to crack the case.
He knows I love him. I tell him every day.
All these years later, thinking about her brother still brings tears to Patricia Rongoat's eyes.
I was allowed 29 years with him, and now it's 28 years later. And that's like half of my life now that he's been out of my life.
Gone because someone took his life. On a cold January day in 1986, Randy left home and never returned.
He'd come over to the couch, took my face like he always did, like this, and he kissed me and he says, "Mama, I love you more than anything."
The next day, police found his body in Optimist Park on Front Street. He was beaten to death.
I just can't understand why they were so cruel to my son. Didn't understand it.
This video from the scene shows officers collecting evidence and poring over his car, which his attackers drove into a ditch in the park. But investigators were never able to crack the case, and his killers are still out there today. Police believe that whoever killed Randy targeted him for a reason, because he was gay.
It was hard of him being gay, period.
Patricia says Randy tried for years to live as a straight man. He even got married and had a daughter. But eventually, Patricia says they divorced and her brother came out in the early 80s.
He was Randy. I mean, if he wanted to dress up and do a show, we supported him. We went out to the gay bars with him. Mom and I particularly would go with him, and he'd go with us to the straight bars, you know, it didn't matter.
Planning a memorial to mark the anniversary of his death, Patricia and her mother are going through old videos and pictures, remembering the good times they shared with Randy. But the process also brings them pain because they still don't have justice.
Please, please, let us know who killed my son. I want to know. I'm 80 years old and I don't want to die without knowing. I don't. I couldn't rest in peace.
I talked to the detective working to solve this murder. He says they recently re-examined the case. They've been conducting a whole new round of interviews. They've also gone over the evidence. They're trying to figure out which pieces to send for retesting at the state crime lab. Well, tomorrow his family is planning a memorial for the anniversary of his death. It'll be at 3 o'clock at Optimist Park. Also, if you have any information that can help police solve this case, call Crime Stoppers at the number you see there on your screen. That's 800-531-9845. You can remain anonymous. You could also get a reward of up to $5,000 for helping to solve this case.